Hey everyone, let's dive right into this explainer. Today we're talking about a name that is literally synonymous with the word genius, Leonardo da Vinci. Now, if you've ever taken a close look at his massive list of accomplishments across so many wildly different fields, it can honestly make you feel like, well, a bit of an underachiever. But as we're going to uncover today, reacting that way means we might be missing the real lesson of his life entirely.
Seriously, ever feel like an underachiever looking at his to-do list? It's a totally natural reaction. I mean, it's so easy to view him as this unattainable, historical god of innate talent, just someone lucky enough to be born with a completely different brain than the rest of us, right? But the source material we're digging into today reveals something so much more inspiring. His legendary status wasn't magic. It was actually built on a highly replicable framework of rigorous experimentation. He had a specific way of operating that we can literally learn from.
So, to demystify his mind, we're going to break his life down into a practical, six-pillar blueprint. We'll look at the unified genius, how art meets anatomy, engineering the impossible, the Da Vincian mindset, overcoming mental barriers, and finally, applying the blueprint.
Let's kick things off with pillar number 1, the unified genius and breaking artificial boundaries.
You know, in modern society, we typically love to strictly separate these two worlds. We put people into neat little boxes, creatives and expressive types over here, logical and mechanical thinkers over there. But Da Vinci, he possessed a unified vision where these were just two sides of the exact same coin. He is absolutely the poster child for dismantling these artificial boundaries. His genius wasn't just in what he created, but in how he viewed the entire world as one giant, interconnected system.
And that flows perfectly into our second pillar, art meets anatomy, where painting is treated as a science.
The Da Vinci, painting is a science, a way to document the truth of nature. Think about that for a second. He didn't just want to paint the surface of people to make a pretty picture. No, he conducted anatomical sketches that were radically far ahead of his time. Why? Well, because he was fiercely driven by a need to understand the fundamental why behind every single muscle movement and every subtle shift in a facial expression.
By rigorously studying actual muscle mechanics from the inside out, he created direct fuel for his unprecedented lifelike masterpieces. I mean, the breathing, external beauty of the Mona Lisa literally could not exist without the grueling internal science fueling it. It was a total game changer that the Renaissance had never seen before. Moving right along to our third pillar, engineering the impossible, focusing on his incredible foresight beyond available materials.
Just look at the sheer scale of his imagination here. This is where his highly logical learning style let him theorize complex physics centuries before the right materials even existed. He conceptualized the aerial screw, which is basically a precursor to the modern helicopter, simply by watching seeds fall from trees. How wild is that? And his armored car was designed to completely scatter enemy formations, even if it basically amounted to a giant wooden turtle shell powered by guys frantically turning hand cranks. He didn't have lightweight metals or internal combustion engines, yet he built functional concepts through pure logic. It's an impossible foresight that absolutely refused to wait for technology to catch up.
Now we transition from the tangible things he built to the internal engine driving it all. Our fourth pillar, the Da Vincian mindset and how he actually learned.
The absolute foundation of this mindset is saper vedere, which translates to knowing how to see. This is the practice of deep observation. Da Vinci believed that most people, well, they just look at the world without actually seeing it. He championed the habit of noticing those easily overlooked details in everyday life. He would intensely fixate on precisely how light hits a single leaf, or exactly how water swirls around an obstacle in a stream.
But, hey, that deep observation didn't exist in a vacuum. It was paired with curiosità, an insatiable, burning curiosity. This was an absolute need to ask relentless questions about absolutely everything in the natural world. He famously questioned everything from why the sky is blue, all the way to, get this, how the tongue of a woodpecker is shaped. Literally no detail was too obscure for his mind to dissect.
Which leads us perfectly into our fifth pillar, overcoming mental barriers, and the very human reality of genius.
We really have to look at the truth of his struggles here, reframing his life from an unachievable myth into a highly motivational guide. Because genius, it's a result of rigorous experimentation, not just some fixed birth trait. So many of us fear failure, but Da Vinci's genius actually required it. Many of his massive projects were completely abandoned, left totally unfinished. His designs were frequently dismissed by his peers, but his true power wasn't perfection. It was simply a stubborn refusal to stagnate. And this brings us to the core of his philosophy. He said, iron rusts from disuse, water loses its purity from stagnation. Even so does inaction sap the vigors of the mind. He kept his mind sharp purely through relentless action, rigorous experimentation, and an absolute refusal to let his brain rust. He never rested on his laurels, he just kept moving forward.
Finally, let's bring it all home with our sixth pillar, applying the blueprint, and what you should really take away from all this.
Let's tie this entire historical blueprint directly to your modern-day to-do list. Start by treating your own skills as a unified vision. Stop putting your creativity and your logic into separate boxes. Tomorrow, try practicing sapere vedere by deeply observing something entirely mundane on your morning commute. Fuel that with curiosità by actively questioning the things you normally just take for granted. And above all, accept failure as a totally necessary stepping stone in your own rigorous experimentation. By actively embracing these habits, you can replicate the exact conditions that created history's greatest innovator. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a question and a choice. Cross-disciplinary thinking or deep observation? Which will you choose to apply to your work today? Both are incredibly powerful tools derived straight from Da Vinci's blueprint. But taking action on just one of these right now could completely change how you see the world. Think about it and start experimenting